So you get invited to the party, and then you're asked, okay, could you bring something? When I was single, I always bring Spapoop. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
You brought what now?
Spapoop. Every time I would bring Spapoop, and it would be the hit of the entire party.
Are you speaking
Spapoop.
words?
Yeah, here. This is it. Here, just hold that.
Okay.
That's it. Spapoop.
I have no idea.
Turn it upside down.
Doodads. Okay.
Yes.
What were your Spapoops then?
Doodads. I just buy a box of Spapoop and I would bring it. And I would put it upside down and say, this is Spapoop. I brought Spapoop to the party.
I'm so confused.
It was a box of doodads.
What is Doodads?
You don't know what doodads
No.
is? It's like a Chex Mix.
Oh, okay.
But the best flavor ever on the planet.
Yeah. Best flavor ever is the Doodads.
The doodads that I would call Spapoop. That's what I would bring to the party because nobody else would bring Spapoop.
Well, I'm glad that I know this. If I invite you to a party, that you'll be bringing the Spapoop.
Yes.
And so I can, okay. How about a charcuterie board?
Gesundheit.
Okay. If you can say your words, I can say mine.
What is that?
Typically, it has been like a meat and fruit and cheese board that you put together. Okay.
So why don't you just call it a meat and cheese plate or something?
Because you're trying to be fancy a little bit, so you say charcuterie, which is the French word for delicatessen. So it's kind of like a little deli on a board. But they're now becoming decade themed, which I am so about. This is so much fun. So let's say the 90s. If you're putting together a 90s charcuterie board, you're going to have cosmic brownies on it. You're going to have those 3D nachos like Doritos. Do you remember those?
I do remember those.
All right. Planters used to have, and I think they might be back on shelves, but they're cheese balls that Planters used to sell back in the 90s.
They did this in the 90s?
Yeah.
So they made their sneeze board I don't know how you say it. What did you call it?
Charcuterie.
So you make one of those charcuteries boards. And you put
90s themed or whatever decade you want. So, okay, Hubba Bubba tape. Do you remember that? Dunkaroos. Oh, the Dunkaroo.
Dunkaroos?
Yeah, so that's a little
Why
cookies.
would you put children underwear?
No, underoos. Dunkaroos. They're cookies that you dip in like vanilla icing.
Oh, I've never seen those.
No, but you've seen underoos. Okay, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because my kids used to have them.
Yeah, so that's
superheroes and stuff.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
The Wonder Woman, the Spider-Man or whatever. But this is what the themed charcuterie boards may be at your next get-together, your Thanksgiving or your Christmas get-together. You're going to have these 80s, 90s themed.
Okay.
Yeah, charcuterie boards. So I think if the 80s, I don't know maybe the Razzles I would put on. Remember those from the 80s?
I don't.
Okay, bagel bites. Might be might be something that you put on an 80s charcuterie board or Squeeze-Its or fruit roll-ups.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Funyuns.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So,
I remember Funyuns.
Right. And Pop Rocks could honestly be something from the 60s? I don't know. They were out in the 60s or 70s, but they made a resurgence in the 90s. So that would be something you would put on. What would you put on yours?
The charcuteries board.
Charcuterie board.
I don't know.
The best is just hearing y'all say it.
I don't know. Do you guys know how to say it? Our video crew?
Charcuterie.
There you go.
Charcuterie.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That
Thanks,
might be
Barney
my
Fife.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, hey, you can chime in the conversation.
Yeah.
800-447-7234. What'd you put on that cootie board? 800-447-7234.
His morning crew.
Okay, so there's this rotisserie board thing that Liz was telling us about just moments ago. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
Charcuterie board.
That thing.
Yeah.
Would you just throw a bunch of lunch meat on it, basically, right?
Well, normally it would have like deli meat or some sort of meat. It would have fruit. It would have cheeses. But now they're doing themed charcuterie boards, and they're like doing decades. So the 90s one had, the rock candy sucker
Pop
thing?
Rocks?
No, that's something different, but Pop Rocks is on it. They've got the 3D Doritos. They've got Funyuns. So I was thinking...
You're saying something about Underoos.
Dunkaroos. Dunkaroos, not Underoos. You don't put those on the charcuterie board. But for an 80s one, I thought it'd be really cool pudding pops. Remember those?
No, yeah,
Oh,
I do
yeah.
remember those.
Toaster strudel, fruit roll-up. So maybe have a themed charcuterie board.
Okay, so if you're at a theme one, maybe you've done one recently
Yeah.
at the party that you went to. What was it? Here's Donna at 800-447-7234. Okay, what was it, Donna?
At a recent party we had, having a redneck charcuterie board. What Goober had on his board.
Uh-oh, this sounds interesting. What you have on it?
A little bit of spam and some vine and sausages. You have to have saltine crackers, maybe some liver pudding. But we made up the whole, and I put it on an old hubcap.
Hey, all right.
I want to come to your next party, Donna. You are awesome.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
It looks like the holidays are going to be so different this year. It's Rob and Liz on his radio.
I know one place it's going to be a little different is Christmastown, USA. Do you know where that is?
That's in the mountains somewhere, isn't it?
McCallville,
I've driven
North
by
Carolina.
there. They have like a big Santa on front or something.
Yeah, well, McCallville in North Carolina, the entire town gets into decorating for Christmas.
Oh,
and
nice.
They have the parade, and they have so many.
Oh, you know what I'm
different
thinking
versions
of is a theme park.
Oh, no,
That's on Christmas.
no. This is because I was thinking out front. I don't know, but this is right off of 85. If you're in North Carolina, you just get off on the exit. And really, the line kind of starts there. Do you know how many people visit McCallville every year?
2 or 3.
No, 600,000.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Well, good news is they're going to be open this year starting December 1st. They're going to be open until December 26th, and I think it's nightly like 5:30 to whatever. There are going to be some pandemic rules in place. They're not going to have the parade this year. They're not going to have the tree lighting, but they are going to have the lights displayed. You can drive through McCallville, or you can park and kind of walk through the town. Of course, social distancing, you probably got to use, your mask and that kind of thing.
This is the first time I've ever heard of this.
McCallville?
I've been here for 20 years. I had no idea that there was a whole town that decks out in Christmas lights and stuff like that.
I will.
Because we would have driven through it. We like to drive through Christmas lights.
Oh, sure. And
Yeah.
this is, just to see the whole town come together and do this is phenomenal. But I have such good memories of McCallville. My dad, because we used to love to go look at Christmas lights, he would get us all in the car and take us to McCallville, and we would just spend
Really?
the entire evening, have hot cocoa. I think they sell the hot cocoa there now and that kind of thing to add to the ambiance. But
Wow.
yeah, you definitely, you got to get the
We
whole family.
need to go. We need to go because that'll be a bright spot during all this 2020 stuff we've been living through,
Exactly. It's McCallville.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Liz, not too long ago, was talking about Christmastown, which I thought she was talking about that theme park that's over near Cherokee.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but this
Right.
is actually a real town that decks out in Christmas. An entire town. I had no idea it even existed. It's Rob and Liz on his radio.
Yeah, McCallville. Like my dad used to take us all when we were little and haven't been in a while. So I think we need to go back. But they're going to still go on with all the lights and everything. There's a couple of changes, no parade and that kind of thing this year, but it's still happening and I'm super excited
The
about
whole
it.
town decks out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But Stephanie says she thinks she knows what you're talking about.
Okay.
And she said she thinks it's Santa Land.
That is it. Yes.
Okay, so that's around Cherokee.
It is. Yeah.
right?
You drive right by it when you're going through the mountains.
Okay, so that's the one that you were thinking of, and she said it's fun, but it is probably for the younger kids. The older kids,
Yeah.
maybe not so much. So
Unless you're very, very young at heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then Frida, she sent us a picture and said, "Oh yeah, we have taken 6 grandchildren to McCallville to see the lights. Best time ever."
Just outside of Charlotte.
Yes.
Amazing. I had no idea.
It's so much fun. You have to go this year.
No
Definitely.
idea. I want to because we like Christmas lights. We
Yeah.
like to go to that kind of thing. Nicole is here at 800-447-7234. What about you, Nicole?
I was just going to let you know in regards to McCallville, we had made a day trip at Christmas time to go see the Billy Graham Library, and then we came through and saw McCallville by accident, didn't know anything about it, but it makes for a perfect day trip as well.
How did you make that an accident?
Well, we wondered what the traffic was lined out on the interstate for. We had no idea, and we were like, what is this? And so anyway, we asked around and got in line and went through it, and it was amazing. It's unlike anything we've ever seen.
What was your favorite part about it?
It's like an old gas station that has been renovated into like a gift shop, and that's where you had the refreshments and so forth. And it was very magical.
How many times have you gone back?
Unfortunately, we've only been back like one other time, but I would love to go back again this year. We had intended to do it prior to that, but you know how it is. When you live out of town, we don't live right there at it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's definitely worth the drive.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Andrea received a lot of no's in life, but she would look at people and say, oh, yeah, just watch me. Just watch me, even though you say no. See, at 5 years old, she had this neurological disorder.
Yeah.
And because of that, she's in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. It progressively got worse. She's in a wheelchair. She's a nurse now and has worked real hard at being a nurse in life. And when this pandemic hit, she was the first one that they went to, and they asked her to be on a very prestigious type team in the middle of the epicenter of the pandemic back in the day. It's weird that we say back in the day now,
right?
But back in March and April in New York City.
Wow.
She leads that team, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, this is giving me goosies.
And
this
she
story.
showers people with messages of hope.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you think of adversity in your own life and you think it's just too hard, we've got to remember, because I do, you get down sometimes. Wow, I can't believe this happened. Think of people like her that have overcome such adversity from an early age. Her entire life she's dealt with it.
And the attitude that she takes.
Yeah.
I mean, people say, no, I'm sorry, I wish. And she goes, oh, yeah? You just watch me.
Yeah, I got this.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Wonder how long, if you have a dog, it can doggy paddle in the water. Because there's this one dog that doggy paddled for 130 miles off the coast of Thailand. It's Rob and Liz on his radio.
It's unreal that this happened. So there is this oil rigging crew that's out in the middle of the Gulf of Thailand, and one of the riggers sees something brown out in the water. It said they're used to seeing dolphin or whale or whatever, but this was different. It was brown and fuzzy, and they were trying to figure out what it was. It was a dog that was struggling to survive, and it took them a couple of times, probably more than a couple, but they finally rigged up like a rope that they put out, and they hauled him up. It was exhausted. It was so sad, but they saved his life, and he lived there on the rig for a couple of days while they kind of nursed him back to health.
Yeah, brought him over to shore, of course, in an animal shelter, kind of took care of him, and then the guy who was able to save this dog, bring it on the oil rig, was wondering how this dog is doing. No owner came forward, so that guy gave that dog a forever home.
Yeah, he said he was kind of struggling because he had to wait 10 days because he had to finish the job that he was on. And then he immediately went to the shelter. He said, I don't have a family, but this dog has become now like a son to me.
Oh, isn't that nice?
That's so sweet. He was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and 130 miles off the coast.
How'd the dog get there?
That is the big question mark. But thankfully, the dog is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I'm sure at some point in life, either you or your kids or someone that you know, maybe a sibling, had used an excuse to get out of homework. Maybe even the dog ate my homework. But I think it's sad when somebody blames a goat for eating paperwork. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
That kind of did happen. So a deputy just outside of Atlanta went to serve some papers at a home, and she usually leaves the door open to the police cruiser just in case there's a vicious dog, and she's got to run back, jump in the car, and shut the door.
Okay, proactive.
Right, exactly. Thinking ahead. So she goes to the front door, she serves the papers, and on the way back, there's a goat in the car.
Literally, a goat in the car, feeding off the other paperwork that she has laying in the seat.
Yeah. She probably had to go to several other houses that day. So anyway, she gets in. She's trying to get the paperwork from the goat, get the goat out, and it headbutts her, y'all. It headbutts her.
Yeah, well, she's pretty aggressive with the goat.
Yeah.
First, she pushes it out of the car.
Yeah.
It's like she's got its tail end and going, come on, get out of this car. Finally gets out, and she goes to the goat several times to get the paper out of the goat's mouth. And at some point, the goat gets just really irritated and just goes, poof. headbutts her and knocks her down. She's got the body cam on.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, you can see that, okay, she got hit. And the next thing you see is the sky.
Yeah. And she's kind of laughing now about it. I doubt she was laughing at the time about it. But have you ever been headbutted by somebody? By somebody?
I've never been headbutted by somebody, especially a goat.
Never a goat. A kid, yes. Never a goat.
Yeah, my own kid.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Not many 12-year-olds can keep a secret. It'll always get out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a 12-year-old who has a top secret. She's not telling anybody about this top secret. It's Rob and Liz on his radio. It just turns out to be her top secret is wing sauce.
Yeah, that she came up with, I guess, during the pandemic. Her name is Azalea. She's from Louisiana, and she is making barbecue wing sauce that the customers, I guess she's selling out. Like, they want it so badly.
Yeah,
she's selling out.
it got so popular. That's even branded. She goes by Baby J.
Yeah,
so
she does.
it's Baby J's wing sauce. 2 flavors. There's barbecue and tangy and hot and spicy. I want to try both of those.
Yeah, well, you can get a gallon jug for $25, but if you want to mix the flavors, it's $30 a gallon.
Did we mention she's 12 and she's doing this at 12 years old? Baby J's wing sauce? Come on.
And it says 100% handcrafted and 100% original flavor.
She's working on another flavor.
Oh, yeah,
Did
what's she
you hear?
working on now?
Cheetos.
Cheetos flavor?
Cheetos flavor barbecue sauce. Or wing sauce, rather.
I would try it. I would just see what that would be all about. Like maybe like a flaming hot Cheeto kind of thing.
It could be.
Huh.
She's
12
a fan.
years old, decided to take her time off from school, and now who knows? She could be a multimillionaire.
People are ordering this all over the place.
That must be good. We got to taste it.
His morning crew.
ABC thought, we need to do something, so they came up with this thing they called Wipeout.
Oh, right. Which is so much fun.
You liked that show?
I did. It
Really?
was funny, and I love people, I don't know, they fall off and,
I thought they just made fun of people all the time that couldn't get through their little course.
I
And then they'd make those people do silly things.
But the people going on the show knew it and had a really good sense of humor. It's not like anybody got offended or got upset about it.
Well, I was offended for them not being offended. I'm like, hey, will he make it? Doing.
They did. They always had the sound effects.
They had the
which was
sound effects
awesome.
and made them look like they're silly. But so it went away. It didn't stand the test of time, but now it's coming back on another network.
Oh, well, who's going to be there to host it?
I know one guy, John Cena.
Yeah.
And then some lady.
Yeah? Who's the lady? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just some lady.
I think she's on a show called Nailed It,
Okay.
which is like a baking show, which is obviously why I know it, but I don't know her name. I can't remember her name.
Okay, with John Cena. You know
John
that
Cena,
guy,
yes,
right?
yes,
yeah,
he's
so it's
everywhere.
John Cena and this lady.
Yeah.
And they're going to host another round of Wipeout.
And you won't be watching it with the fam because you don't.
Not me. I don't like the show. I never have.
I maybe it's campy enough that I was like, okay, that's cute.
If you like it and you think it's funny,
Yeah,
hey,
that was funny.
no judging. I'm not judging. I'm saying what I feel about it.
That was pretty funny. Why are you looking at me like that?
Just waiting.
For?
You.
Well, I
And
like
how great the show is.
No, I'm not. Now that's taking it too far. I don't
Okay.
think it's that great, but I think it's definitely something if you have nothing else to watch.
Okay.
Because like my show, Survivor's not coming back, from what I understand. So
Thankfully.
I like
Oh.
that show.
It's the same show
It-
all the time.
It is, but it was something that we watched as a family since the kids were little, and so it's more
Survivor brings
nostalgic.
family together.
Yes, even
Okay.
though the boys haven't really joined us in the last year or so to watch
Mm-hmm.
it, But it's going away, and I am sad.
It's always the same at the very end of Survivor.
Yeah, somebody gets voted off.
There's just sitting there. And then they backbite each other on Survivor at the end, right?
Don't they?
They're sitting there, and then it's the whole, what is it? The who's going to get voted off.
Oh, right. And the torch is going to be snuffed out or whatever, but I like
Same
it.
thing.
Because you honestly never see who's going to be voted out
I know.
necessarily.
When
so.
you tally the vote.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that Survivor and Wipeout brings family together. It's great.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Just think about the seriousness of all of this because you've been trying so hard in this one competition. It's Rob and Liz on his radio. So this other young lady by the name of Liz, she's in this one competition and she's taping her audition.
Yeah.
Here she is. Beautiful, right?
Awesome.
I mean, really beautiful. So she continues on with her audition for this competition. When all of a sudden, and a leg comes through the ceiling.
How?
It's her mom.
But how did it happen? Like, I've watched this kind of over and over, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
was mom just walking and all of a sudden the floor gave out?
I'm thinking she's in the attic. She
thought the
has
same-
to be
yeah.
in the attic,
Yeah.
and she wasn't walking where you have the
Beams,
wood down and the
right.
beams down. So she just stepped in the wrong place and right through the ceiling. Just her legs dangling.
And she didn't get too hurt. I mean, she had a little scratch, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but I've seen it in a movie where people have fallen through the ceilings, but I've never actually seen it happen in real life.
So this thing's posted on social media.
Yeah.
8 million plus people have seen it. And this young lady, Liz, she's only 18 years old.
Yeah.
She only has like 3 or 4 little posts on her
Yeah.
little social media site. So she sat down and interviewed her mom. And she's like, Mom, what happened here?
I didn't know what just happened. I could not believe that just happened.
She can't even believe, like,
Just happened.
who was embarrassed? Was anybody embarrassed, I wonder? But I think the girl, she's in like drama teams, and that's what she was kind of auditioning for, was a conservatory. But so she's probably okay with it, but I wonder if mom was embarrassed a
She
little bit.
seems okay now.
I think so.
But at this moment, when she's just singing away, when all of a sudden, here it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've been there, Liz. I know.
Mhm.
Parents, and we can embarrass our children. Sometimes
We're
so.
allowed to.
Yeah, that's the thing. It comes with the job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think her mom meant to do it, though.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
If you happen to know anybody who just like Arbys is their jam,
Yeah?
they're all about where we've got the meats. Isn't that what they say?
Yes.
How do you say it?
Arby's, we have the meats.
There it is. It's Rob and Liz on his radio. So now Arbys is like selling their meat by the pound.
What?
Yeah.
That is super cool.
So if you have like a friend that has to have Arbys 3 or 4 times a week,
Yeah.
this is their thing now.
I like their roast beef. So they have turkey, ham, corned beef by the pound.
Oh, they have corned beef? I didn't know Arbys had that.
I did not know that until I was looking at this. Yeah, they have corned beef, but $8.99. I think that's a pound.
What's it like in the deli?
I think that's a little high. I might
Okay.
say it's $6.99 a pound, depending on the cut that you
I'm
get.
sticking
But
the Publix then.
you know, kind of, right? I don't know. $4.99 for a half a pound, which is even more expensive.
Okay.
But I mean, that, you know, the more you buy, it's kind of like the big warehouse clubs. The more you buy, the cheaper it becomes. But I don't know. I like their roast beef sandwiches with horseradish, horsey sauce.
They used to have a
call it.
healthy sandwich. They probably still do.
I don't know of a healthy one at
Yeah.
Arbys, but I don't go that often. So,
So are you saying, let me see if I get this right. Are you saying that their stuff's not healthy?
I'm saying I don't think it is very much healthy, but I'm sure you can find a healthy option. All I know is I love the Arbys.
How'd you like how she did that?
I know. I'm trying. I love the Arbys commercials because I
They
love
have
his
some
voice.
kind of sandwich thing.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like a healthier side of it. I can't remember the name of the sandwich. But anyway, so if you know somebody who's like a really uber fan
Yes.
of Arby's, they might get in these deli meat things that they're selling by the pound.
But those potato cakes they got,
They have potato cakes?
ooh, I think that's what they call them. They're good.
Oh, boy, they sound good.
Now I'm going to have to go.